Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Thungal online classes. I think the last class we were discussing about the nomenclature as well as structure of carbonyl compounds. Under that, we have seen the structure of carbonyl group. With that, we have completed the nomenclature part as well as introduction part. Now, we'll start the discussion of methods of preparation of aldehydes as well as ketones. In this class, we will discuss the general methods of preparation of aldehydes and ketones. General methods of preparation and aldehydes and ketones. Okay. The first method that we are discussing, the methods that can be used for the preparation of both aldehydes as well as ketones. What are the methods that we are going to discuss under this heading? That can be used for the both preparation of aldehydes as well as ketones. There are some special methods for the preparation of aldehydes as well as ketones that we will discuss after the discussion of this common methods of preparation of aldehydes and ketones. You can say these are the common methods of preparation of aldehydes as well as ketones. In every organic family, this is a common thing that we will discuss: the nomenclature, methods of preparation, physical properties, chemical properties, and commercial application. This is the main aspects of the particular chapter of organic chemistry. Now, we will see what are the general methods of preparation of this aldehydes and ketones. These are the common methods. These are the common methods of preparation of aldehydes as well as ketones. Right? The first one we can say from alcohols. Preparation of aldehydes and ketones and from alcohols. This is we have already discussed. This method you might be already having awareness regarding this particular method because you have already studied in the concept of alcohols under the properties of alcohols. Okay, from alcohols we can prepare aldehydes and ketones. Right? There are two main methods of preparation of aldehydes and ketones from alcohols. The first method is that, okay, there are two methods. The first one is from oxidation of alcohols. Okay, the second method is that from dehydrogenation of alcohols. Okay, these are the two methods starting with alcohols. We will see the first one. What is the first one? From oxidation of alcohols. Okay, right, let us see the first one. Oxidation of alcohols. What is mean by oxidation? Okay, addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Okay, you might have already studied the criteria of oxidation, and the reagents that are used for the oxidation are called as oxidizing agents. Okay, alcohols. This particular method you have already studied in the previous chapter, that is alcohols and phenols and ethers. As a property of alcohol, you have studied this particular reaction. Alcohols on oxidation by mild oxidizing agents. What is mean by mild oxidizing agents? There are two kinds of oxidizing agents: strong oxidizing agents as well as mild oxidizing agents. Strong oxidizing agents will convert alcohols to carboxylic acids, whereas mild oxidizing agents will convert alcohols to carbonyl compounds, that is aldehydes and ketones. Okay, there are several mild oxidizing agents are oxidized to alcohols on oxidation by mild oxidizing agents gets converts into aldehydes and ketones. Okay, see, let us see what are the mild oxidizing agents we can use. I have already told you what is mean by mild oxidizing agents. Okay, mild oxidizing means which can convert alcohols to aldehydes or ketones. Strong means which can convert alcohols to carboxylic acid. They will completely oxidize. Okay, basically what is the general formula of alcohols? RCH2OH. Okay, if you are using a mild oxidizing agent, this is mild. Alcohols can be possibly be oxidized in two ways. If you use a mild oxidizing agent, it will be converted into either aldehyde or ketone. Right? If you use a strong oxidizing agent, they will be converted into carboxylic acids. This is the difference. The difference between the mild oxidizing agent as well as strong oxidizing agent. Right? Strong oxidizing agent in the sense K2Cr2O7 in concentrated H2SO4 will be considered as strong oxidizing agent. Mild oxidizing agents, such as there are several mild oxidizing agents, such as what we can say, chromic oxide plus chromic oxide in aqueous H2SO4 plus acetone. This particular reagent is called as Jones reagent. These are not included in textbook, but I am giving the idea of to give few examples. Chromic oxide plus pyridine, this is called as Surratt's reagent. What is this called? Surratt's reagent. This is called Jones reagent. Or you may also take this is the first one, this is the second one. You may also take as an example of PCC. PCC means pyridinium chlorochromate. Okay, chlorochromate. This is also, and you can also take PDC. PDC means pyridinium dichromate. These are the examples of mild oxidizing agents. Okay, when you treat alcohols with mild oxidizing agents, the important thing to be noted down is that, okay, primary alcohols. Okay, what is the general representation of primary alcohols? Or CH2OH. Primary alcohol on mild oxidation will be converted into aldehyde. What it will be converted into? Aldehyde. This is primary alcohol. What is this? Primary alcohol will be converted into aldehydes. And whereas secondary alcohols, what is the general representation of secondary alcohols? Okay, the secondary alcohols on oxidation by mild oxidizing agents, you can use any one of these oxidizing agents, either chromic oxide in aqueous H2SO4 plus acetone, or chromic oxide in pyridine, or PCC or PDC. Any one of these can be used. Any one of these is considered as mild oxidizing agent. Okay, primary alcohols on oxidation by mild oxidizing agents, it will be converted into aldehydes. And secondary alcohols, these are called as secondary alcohols. Secondary alcohols on oxidation by mild oxidizing agents, they will be converted into ketones. This is an important note. Okay, so what is the conclusion here? Primary alcohols are oxidized to aldehydes, and secondary alcohols are oxidized to ketones by mild oxidizing agents. Right? Now if you want to see an example, let us see some example. Suppose, let us take the simplest primary alcohol, that is methyl alcohol. If you take methyl alcohol, if you subject it to any one of the reagent, either PCC, or you may take PDC, or you may take anything, Jones reagent or Surratt's reagent, what happens? It will be converted into, okay, you have to convert this primary alcoholic group, that is the carbon to which hydroxy group is attached, that should be converted into corresponding aldehyde group. Okay, if you are talking about this is also a primary alcohol which is called ethyl alcohol. This is methanol. What is this? This is methanol, which gives methanol. And this is ethanol. What is this? This is ethanol, and this will be converted into CH3CH. This is called ethanol, or we generally call acetaldehyde. Suppose if you take any secondary alcohol such as CH3OH, this is we call isopropanol. What we call it as? Isopropanol. Okay, this is on mild oxidation. It will be converted into acetone. What we call it as? Acetone, or this is also called as propanone. What we call it as? Propanone. This is the first method of preparation of it can be used for the preparation of both, what is this, aldehydes as well as ketones. This is the first method of preparation, okay, from which we can prepare both aldehydes as well as ketones. Okay, hope it is clear so far. There is another one, What is the second one? From dehydrogenation of alcohols. From the dehydrogenation of alcohols. What is mean by dehydrogenation of alcohols? The name itself suggests D means removal. What should be removed? Hydrogenation. Removal of hydrogen is called as dehydrogenation. When vapors of alcohols are passed through an hot metal such as copper or silver at high temperature, they will undergo dehydrogenation and to form corresponding aldehydes and ketones. So what we have to do in this method? The volatile alcohols, the vapors of alcohols are passed over hot copper or silver at high temperature undergo dehydrogenation to form corresponding aldehydes and ketones. What it will form corresponding aldehydes and ketones. Basically here also the same thing. What is that? Primary alcohol will give what you have to take? Either you have to take copper or silver at a temperature of 573 Kelvin. If you pass the vapors of alcohol onto this hot copper or silver, it will be a primary alcohol will be oxidized to aldehyde, and this is primary, which will give aldehyde. Primary alcohol will give aldehyde, whereas secondary alcohol will give ketone. This is second method. Here also you can take the same example. For the alcohol you can take example of ethyl alcohol. When you pass the vapors of ethyl alcohol either copper or silver at 573 Kelvin, it will be converted into acetaldehyde. Right? This is ethanol and this will be ethanol. Ethanol on oxidation will be converted into ethanol. Right? For the example of ketone you can take isopropanol. If you pass the vapors of isopropanol at a temperature of 573 Kelvin, it will also be oxidized to acetone. This is the second method of preparation of alcohols. Preparation of aldehydes and ketones from the alcohols. And the second method, if you are talking about the preparation of aldehydes and ketones from hydrocarbons. What is this? Hydrocarbons. Alright, let us see what is mean by hydrocarbons. The compound which are containing carbon and hydrogen are called as hydrocarbons. Here also there are two methods. Within this first method is that from alkenes. This is also called from the oxidation of alkenes, or from alkenes we say. What we can say it is, in order to say better, from the oxidation of alkenes. This particular method is also called as ozonolysis. What it is called? Ozonolysis. Right? So in this particular method what we have to do means, when alkenes are subjected to ozonolysis, they will be ozonolysis followed by the treatment with zinc dust in presence of water. They will be converted into corresponding aldehydes and ketones. Let us see what is mean by ozonolysis. Here remember that lysis means breaking. Breaking in presence of ozone will be called as ozonolysis. Here basically what happens in this method, the alkenes are dissolved in inert solvents such as chloroform or carbon disulfide or carbon tetrachloride. And these are treated with ozonized oxygen. When they are treated with ozonized oxygen, these alkenes will be converted into an intermediate called ozonide, and this ozonide is highly unstable. When it is treated with zinc dust, that will be converted into corresponding carbonyl compounds. In this method what we have to do, alkenes are dissolved in inert solvents such as chloroform, carbon tetrachloride or carbon bisulfide, etc. and treated with ozonized oxygen. Okay, ozonized oxygen means oxygen converted into ozone form will be called as ozonized oxygen. Mixture of oxygen and ozone will be called as ozonized oxygen. Forms ozonide, which is unstable when treated with zinc dust and water, converts into corresponding aldehydes and ketones, converts into corresponding aldehydes and ketones. And it gives mixture of compounds. It gives mixture of compounds. It will. Okay, let me take an example of general representation of. Okay, this is a general representation of alkene. If you take any alkene in this manner, and when you are treating this particular compound with ozone in presence of carbon disulfide solvent, basically what happens, this ozone gets added to the across the double bond. It will form an intermediate in this manner. This is called as ozonide intermediate. What is this? Ozonide intermediate, which is highly unstable intermediate. When you treat this with zinc and water, okay, it will broken in this manner, break this particular compound in this manner. Now it will be converted into corresponding carbonyl compound. Okay, this double bond, nothing you have to do across the double bond. To each double bonded carbon you have to add a double bonded oxygen. So that will give the corresponding aldehydes and ketones. Based on the nature of this particular alkane, you may get either aldehydes or ketones, or both mixture of aldehydes and ketones. Okay, for example, let us see some example for this particular method. We'll also see some examples. Nothing you have to do. Suppose if you take a simplest alkene, that is ethene, CH2, when you are treating with ozone, the first reagent is, what is this? Ozone in carbon bisulfide. The second one is what? Zinc in water. So simply break this bond. Okay, add oxygen to both the carbons. This is formaldehyde, this is formaldehyde. Suppose if you take any other alkene like this, simply you have to do what you have to do, the same thing you have to do. Break this bond here, right? CHO plus, what is this? CH2. This is formaldehyde, this is formaldehyde. Here this is acetaldehyde. What is this? Acetaldehyde. And this is formaldehyde. Formaldehyde we call it as. Suppose if you take alkene like this, which alkene it is? 2-methyl. This is 2-methyl butene, right? So if you treat this particular compound to the ozonolysis, what happens? The breaking of this particular bond takes place. Simply convert this into CH3O plus, what is this? You get both aldehyde as well as ketone. This is acetaldehyde, and what is this? This is acetone. This is an important method of preparation of carbonyl compounds from alkenes, which is called as ozonolysis. In this method, what we do, we treat the alkenes with ozone and followed by the treatment with zinc dust in water. That gives corresponding. Nothing you have to do, you have to just break the double bond. To each double bonded carbon you have to attach double bonded oxygen. That will give you a carbonyl compound. Based on the other two valencies of this particular carbon, you may get an aldehyde or a ketone, right? Now you may get both also, aldehyde as well as ketone, right? What is the second in this method? From hydration of alkynes. What is called? From hydration of alkynes. Preparation of carbonyl compounds from hydration of alkynes. This is also called acid catalyzed hydration of alkynes. In this method, what you have to do? Hydration means addition of water is called as hydration. Okay. When addition of water to alkynes in presence of H2SO4 and HgSO4, mercuric acid. When addition of water to alkynes in presence of H2SO4 and HgSO4, okay, then when water is added to the alkynes, then they convert into corresponding aldehydes and ketones. This is called acid catalyzed hydration. Addition of water is called as hydration. Since it is taking place in presence of H2SO4, it is called as acid catalyzed hydration. Here we use a mixture of H2SO4 and mercuric sulfate. Now, suppose let us take the simplest alkane, that is this is called acetylene. What do you call it as? This is called acetylene. If you are adding water in presence of what is this? HgSO4 and H2SO4. This is called acid catalyzed hydration. Simply what it will be converted into? It will be converted into acetaldehyde. Okay. The important thing to be noted on this, important thing is that addition of water takes place. Addition of water takes place according to Markovnikov rule. You might have already studied what is our Markovnikov rules. The mechanism is not given in the textbook and it is not the part of board. So because of that, I am not giving any mechanism. And one other important note is that except acetylene, all alkynes gives ketones on hydration. What is acetylene is giving? Acetylene is giving an aldehyde. What is this? Acetaldehyde. Acetylene only gives aldehyde, whereas remaining all alkynes will give ketones, because suppose if you take a CH3C triple bond CH, let us take propane. What is this? Propane. If you take any other alkyne other than the acetylene, if you add water in presence of H plus and mercuric plus 2, okay, the reagent can also be represented in this form, H plus and Hg plus 2, right? It is the alternative way of representation of reagent. Addition of water takes place according to the Markovnikov rule. What is Markovnikov rule? Okay, hydrogen should be added to the triple bond which is hydrogen, triple bond which is having less number of hydrogens, and hydroxy group should be added to the triple carbon having less number of hydrogens. Okay, so as per that, hydroxy group should be added to the carbon having less number of hydrogens, and hydrogen of water should be added to the carbon having more number of hydrogens. You might have already studied the Markovnikov rule. Because of that, I am not getting into the details. It will consume time a lot. Okay, you have studied the concept of Markovnikov rule in alkenes as well as alkanes. So it will give acetone. It will give. So because of that, I am not getting into the Markovnikov. Just remember that this hydration of alkynes follows Markovnikov rule, and except acetylene, remaining all alkanes will give ketones. Acetylene will give, what it will give? Aldehyde. Right, this is the second method. And if you are talking about the another method of preparation of what is this carbonyl compounds from okay, we have so far we have seen two methods. What is the first method? From alcohols, and second method is from hydrocarbons. Okay, these are the common methods. These are the common methods of preparation of aldehydes and ketones. There are several methods, but we are only sticking to the methods that are given in the NCERT. The methods that are given in the NCERT. So these are only the two methods that are used for the preparation of aldehydes and ketones as a common methods. Okay, hope it is clear so far. As I said earlier, we are only discussing the NCERT part. There are several methods of preparation of aldehydes and ketones. We are not discussing all the methods. We are only discussing the board syllabus. So these are the methods that are given. These are the common methods of preparation of aldehydes and ketones that are given in the textbook. Now we will see methods used for the preparation of aldehydes. Methods of preparation of aldehydes. Preparation of aldehydes. We will discuss the methods that are used only for the preparation of aldehydes. So far we have seen the common methods. Now we will see the method that are used only for the preparation of aldehydes. Okay. Under this, the first method comes from acyl chlorides, or we can also say acid chlorides. We say, or this can also be said acid chlorides. This particular method is called Rosen-Munz. Rosen-Munz reduction we call it as. What we call it as? Rosen-Munz reduction we call it as. Okay, this is an important method for the preparation of board point of view. Also for a 2 marks question, it can be directly asked what is the Rosen-Munz reduction. Okay, these particular name reactions are very important for the 2 marks question, as well as they can be included as a 2 marks question under the 5 mark question. Okay, now let us see what is meant by Rosen-Munz reduction or preparation of aldehydes from acyl chlorides. First of all, you should know what is meant by acyl chlorides. Acyl chlorides on reduction by palladium barium sulfate. That is, reaction is nothing but addition of hydrogen. When hydrogen is added to the acyl chlorides in presence of palladium and barium sulfate, okay, they give aldehydes. They are converted into corresponding aldehydes. Okay, the general representation of acid halides is acid chlorides. This is called acid chloride or acyl chloride. Okay, basically reduction means addition of hydrogen. We are doing here addition of hydrogen in presence of what? Palladium as a catalyst, and barium sulfate is used as a poison. It will stop the reduction at aldehyde state. If you are not using this barium sulfate, the reduction will go up to the alcohol stage, or it may also go up to the alkane stage. So because of that, what we do, it will be converted into corresponding aldehyde. This particular reaction is called as Rosen-Munz reduction. Okay, the example we can give, if you are taking benzyl chloride, this is we call benzyl chloride. Hydrogenation in presence of palladium and barium sulfate will give corresponding aldehyde, which is called benzaldehyde. This is called benzoyl chloride, and what it will form? It will form benzaldehyde. Right? Now, you can give several examples. This is the examples given in the NCERT book. That will be enough. If it is asked for the 2 marks, directly you may get this particular, write the Rosen-Munz reduction. Rosen-Munz reduction is nothing but a hydration of acid chlorides in presence of palladium and barium sulfate is called as, okay, Rosen-Munz reduction. Okay, by this reduction, what we get? We get the product as aldehydes. Suppose if benzyl chloride is subjected to the Rosen-Munz reduction, you will get the benzaldehyde. Okay, you can give several examples. Okay, suppose if you take a acetyl chloride, this acetyl chloride will give acetaldehyde. Okay, like this we can give the several examples. This is the first method. If you are talking about the second method, from Nitriles. What is mean by nitriles? Cyanides are called as nitriles. Okay, nitriles. Okay, nitriles are cyanides. Nitriles are nothing but cyanides. On reaction with stannous chloride. What is mean by stannous chloride? This is we call stannous chloride. In presence of HCl, gives imines. What they'll give? They give imines. Imines on hydrolysis. Imines on hydrolysis gives aldehydes. This particular reaction is called as Stephen's reduction. What is it called? Stephen's reduction. You call this. It is known as Stephen's reduction. Okay, this is very, very important name reaction. All the name reduction and Stephen's reaction we call it as. What we call it as? Stephen's reaction we call it as. Now let us see what is mean by this. What is the general formula of nitriles? RC triple bond N is called as nitrile. Nitrile or cyanide we call it as. This is we call nitrile. When you are treating this particular compound with stannous chloride in HCl, it will be converted into imine. What is mean by imine? The carbon C double bond N is called as imine. This is we call imine. If this is treated with, if it is subjected to hydrolysis. Hydrolysis means breaking of any bond in presence of water is called as hydrolysis. If you break this double bond in presence of water, what happens? This particular compound will be converted into aldehyde plus ammonia. Right? Now, this is we get aldehyde. For example, this particular reaction is called Stephen's reaction. Suppose if you are taking hydrogen cyanide. What is this? This is we call hydrogen cyanide. If you get this compound in presence of stannous chloride and HCl, it will be converted into imine, and this is followed by hydrolysis. What you will get? You will get formaldehyde. What you get here? Formaldehyde you will get. Suppose if you are taken methyl cyanide, this is we call methyl cyanide. If you are treating this with methyl cyanide, we call it as. If you are treating this with stannous chloride, it will form corresponding imine. This imine on hydrolysis will form, what it will form? It will form acetaldehyde you will get. What you will get? Acetaldehyde you get. Suppose if you are treating phenyl cyanide, what is this called? Phenyl cyanide. What do you call this as? Phenyl cyanide we call, or benzene nitrile also we can call it as. It will form corresponding imine. This imine on hydrolysis, what it will form? It will form benzaldehyde. What it will form? Benzaldehyde it will form. This is another method of preparation of, right? Now, these nitriles can also be converted into aldehydes. We'll continue this. Let me clear the board first. Right. Now, nitriles can also be converted into aldehydes by diol H. Diol H. Diol H means this is a reagent. Diisobutyl aluminum hydride is called diol, right? It is basically represented as This is general representation, or it can also be generally represented as a diol H. Diol H. Right? Basically, what's the reaction here? Cyanides, when you treat this with aluminium hydride, this is diisobutyl aluminium hydride, it will be converted into corresponding aldehyde. Right? It is a selective reaction. Selective reaction in the sense it won't affect other functional groups, only specifically aldehyde group will be obtained. Suppose if you take a CH3 CHCN, you will get CH3 CHO. Okay. Similarly, esters can also be converted to aldehydes by diol H. This is a reagent. Okay. What is the general formula of ester? Or C double bond O, or if you are treating them with aluminium hydrogen diisobutyl, okay, they will also be converted into corresponding aldehydes, plus they will form corresponding alcohols. Right? Here also the same phenomenon. First they will be converted into imines, and after that they will be hydrolyzed to carbonyl compounds. For example, if you take any ester, CH3 CH2 C double bond O, OCH3, it will be converted into, okay, CH3 CH2 C double bond H. In the textbook, I think he has given CH3 CH2 taken 9 times C double bond O CH3. This will be converted into, okay, followed by first this one, followed by hydrolysis, right? Here what happens? CH3 CH2 taken 9 times CHO. This will be the product that you will get, okay, and treatment with the diol H. These are the selective methods that are used for the preparation of aldehydes. These are the selective methods that are used for the preparation of aldehydes, right?